Hey guys, it's me, Mario, and today we're going to continue Beast Quest Tagus the Horseman. Chapter 2, Trapped. There was nowhere to go. The only thing they could do was turn and run with the trembling cattle. It was risky, but they had no choice. Tom's shield, which protected him from fire, could not be able to defend the four of them. Tom reeled Storm round, and the brave horse ran back towards the mess of cattle. Soon he was running alongside the herd. Then right in the middle of it, with Silver running close beside him for protection, choking on the dust and smoke, Tom urged Storm on. Go, boy, go. After a quarter of a mile, they had outrun the spreading fire for the moment. Left, Tom yelled, pulling on the Storm's reins. The horse made an abrupt turn, breaking from the stampede, Silver following him as if he were Storm's shadow. Tom eased the stallion to a stop just before a hill. We need to make the fire break. To stop the fire from reaching the town, he yelled above the thundering hooves of the cattle as they faded into the distance. He jumped down from the Storm's back. Get Silver and Storm behind the hill, he called that to Helena as he ran towards the approaching flames. As Helena urges the animals to safety, Tom began chopping the tall grass with his sword. He knew if he could clear a wide enough break in front of the fire's path, it would have nowhere to go. Holding his shield in front of himself, he cleared a large swathe of grass. Knowing that the dragon's scale in his shield would keep him safe from the blaze, he swung his sword again and again until the flames had nothing left to consume and began to die down. As the fire flickered out, Tom collapsed to the ground in exhaustion. His face was covered in soot, and he was coughing from all the smoke. Anxiously, Yelena ran towards him. She handed him some water and bread, then crouched in the long grass beside him. Tom ate and drank a little, but he felt restless, as if the danger was not yet over. We better get moving, he said as soon as he'd finished. He staggered up. Tom's soot. A shot rang out. There he was. Tom looked up to see a band of men approaching from the direction of the town. "Get him!" another man shouted. Tom clutched his sword and shield. "Elena, I don't think they've seen you," he said quickly, I mean. "Get back to Storm and Silver and take them to safety." She cast him a worried look, but they were used to acting as a team now. So she immediately crawled through the long grass back to the hill. Tom knew she would be there for him when it counted. He did his best to look calm. Soon, the jostling mob surrounded him. It was made up of big men, and they were brandishing scythes and pitchforks. Oh, torches and pitchforks. Okay. Their faces were red with anger. There were too many of them to fight. Why are they so furious? Tom wondered. All he'd done was save their town from a wildfire. Wait a minute, I hadn't done anything wrong, he began, but no one was listening to him. One of the men pushed forward and grabbed him by the shoulder. "Where's Victor?" he demanded. When everyone seemed to be shouting at once, "Look, he's covered in soot. He must have started the fire. And what about our cattle?" Another man thrust his face close to Tom's, glaring fierily at him. "You've made them stampede." Someone else struck Tom a powerful blow that knocked the air from him. "Our families will starve." "Who's Victor? I don't know what you're talking about." Tom sputtered, trying to get his wind back. But the men were shouting and Tom couldn't make himself heard. Fear surged up inside him as they crowded around. He gripped his sword and shield tightly, but one of the men wrenched them out of his hands. Then another voice rang out. "Wait, let me talk to him." A tall man pushed his way to the front of the crowd. His face was stern. The crowd moved back and the shouts died down to angry muttering. "I'm Adam, the head guard of the town," the tall man said. "My son Victor disappeared from a camp near here. He was helping to look after a herd of cattle. Do you know anything about him?" Tom's heart pounded as he looked at the angry faces around him. "No, I don't," he said. "I've only just come down from the north. I barely escaped the stampede myself. I'm the one that put put out the fire. He glanced around at the circle of suspicious faces and added, "You've got to let me go. I have something really important to do." "I'll bet." One of the men cheered. Yeah, cheered. "Don't believe him," said another. Two men grabbed his arm. Two men grabbed his arms, pulling him in different directions. "So you won't tell the truth, huh?" Someone else called out. "We'll soon see about that." And that was chapter 2. Trapped. Here's Tom herding the cattle away from the fire. And here are the villagers taking away his shield and sword so he can't really defend himself against anything. And chapter 3 is called Behind Bars. That was chapter 2 of Tagus the Horseman. So he technically saved the herd, put out the fire, then the villagers came to him and thought he started the fire, so he's taken away his sword and shield. Then a man came over there and told them to stop, and we'll see if he is lying or not. So that was Tagus the Horseman. I already have the dragon ready, so when this one gets uploaded, I'm gonna make the next one. So, hope you guys enjoy my videos. And I hope I will see you in the next one. See ya.